Day 4, problem 1. A person is 6 feet tall and casts a 6-foot shadow. At the same time, a nearby tree casts a 50-foot shadow. Part A, sketch a diagram. I'm going to use a horizontal line to be the ground, and then here is my person, and nearby is a tree. Now, if the sun was high up in the air to the right of the person and tree, as it casts its rays, they are going to come down through the sky and brush against the top of the tree, coming on down, striking the ground, and this part along the ground where the tree is blocking the sun is going to be a shadow. And so in math, a right triangle shape is how you can sketch this concept of a tree casting a shadow on the ground. Similarly, when the ray from the sun comes to the sky and goes past the person's head, coming down and touching the ground, this part here is the person's shadow. And so a small right triangle is how you could sketch a person casting a shadow on the ground. These triangles are similar in shape, they are just different size. Now the person is 6 feet tall, and so this side of the triangle is 6 feet. And the shadow for the person is 6 feet long. The shadow is the same length as the person's height in this particular problem. Now the nearby tree has a 50-foot shadow. And the question is, how high is the tree? We can call that X. And so here is our diagram for part A. Part B, use similar triangles. We have similar triangles and a proportion to find the tree's height. So a proportion is an equation that has a ratio on both sides of the equal symbol. Now for our first ratio, let's refer to the part of our drawing with the person. A 6-foot tall person has a 6-foot long shadow in this problem. And on the other side of the equation, let's work with the tree. A tree that is X feet high has a 50-foot shadow. So our proportion is 6 is to 6 as X is to 50. And we want to solve this for X. Now there's so many ways to solve proportions, but what a proportion is it shows relationships between ratios, and anything we notice in terms of patterns can often help us to figure out the missing component of the proportion. For example, earlier when I noticed that the height of the person is identical to the shadow of the person in this particular problem, I can use that pattern to find the height of the tree. The height of the tree has to match the length of the shadow, and so X has to be 50 feet. So the height of the tree is 50 feet. Now, day 4, problem 2. A cylinder has diameter 4 meters and height 7 meters. Recall that a circle's diameter is twice its radius. Part A, sketch the picture. And so here is a picture of a cylinder. I want to label the radius of the cylinder, and that's the distance from the base circle to the edge of the cylinder. If the diameter is 4 meters, given this hint that the diameter is twice the radius, then the radius is 2 meters. And the height of the cylinder from here to here is 7 meters. So there's part A. Now part B, use this formula to find the surface area of the cylinder. So I'm going to begin by writing that formula down. And then substituting numbers from my drawing in place of those symbols. So for pi, 3.14. For the R, 2. For H, 7. For pi, 3.14. And for r, 2. And then we have quite a bit of multiplying to do and an adding to do right there. So this first piece, let's multiply all that together. 2 times 3.14 is 6.28. 2 times 7 is 14. And so let's figure out what 6.28 times 14 is. 8 times 4 is 32, carry the 3. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11, carry the 1. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Start the next row with 0. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. And 1 times 6 is 6. Adding together, this is 2, 9, 7, 8. There are 2 digits to the right of the decimal point, so it goes here, 87.92. Plus. All right, what does this piece make? Again, 2 times 3.14 is 6.28, and 2 squared is 4, so 6.28 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32, carry the 3. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11, carry 1. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. 2 numbers to the right of the dot, so the dot must go here, 25.12. In the final step, we can add together these 2 numbers, and that will give us our value for S, the total surface area. So 87.92 plus 25.12. 2 plus 2 is 4. 9 plus 1 is 10. Carry the 1. 7 and 5 is 12 plus 1, 13. Carry the 1. 8 plus 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. Our total surface area for this three-dimensional object is 113.04 square meters.